Good day everyone, I'm John. So welcome to English class. Today we'll be looking at prepositions and antonyms. Now we need to look at these topics because they actually come out under lexicon structure, which is the objective part of YA questions and any other English language exams. Now when it comes to preposition is one of the parts of speech in which it shows the relationship between nouns and pronouns in a particular sentence. Now, this preposition, they obviously perform various functions. Now, those functions determine the types that they are. Now, we've got various types of prepositions. We've got on, between, at, by, before, after, under, below, and so many of them. Now, if you have this particular sentence like, the boy is sitting on the fence. The boy is sitting on the fence. Obviously, the nouns there, we've got the boy and the fence. So the relationship that occurs there is on. So the preposition there, which is on, actually shows the relationship that exists between the boy and the fence. Now, it's obvious that the boy is not sitting under the fence or beside the fence or standing in front of the fence. So that's to show you that it's indicating the specific relationship existing between these two nouns. Now let's take this another example. Okay, the pen is inside the bottle. The pen is inside the bottle. Now we've got the pen and we've got the bottle. Now the relationship that exists there, or the word that actually shows the relationship that exists between these two nouns, is inside. Now definitely, if anybody is asked to go and pick the pen, and already you're told that the pen is inside the bottle, you'll not be looking outside the bottle or beside the bottle or under the bottle or on the bottle, because the inside has already indicated the relationship that exists between the pen I'm asking you to go and get and the bottle that's obviously there. So that is preposition for you, and we're going to be looking at the types, and the types indicate the function that they perform. As for antonyms, antonyms are words that are actually the opposite of any given word. Now, that under lexicon structure, okay, which is an aspect of English language, questions under this could actually be asked. We have words that will be underlined, and we have options in which you'll be told to pick the possible opposite word from the choice to the underlined specific word. Now, mind you, you have to be very careful because you might know the dictionary meaning of those words, but you need to take note of the function those would perform in that particular sentence. So you have to be very conscious, because some words could have dictionary meanings and also they could have context meaning. If you have this particular example, Nigeria flogged Brazil. Nigeria flogged Brazil. And the word flogged is underlined. Obviously, anybody could have to actually think that, oh, Nigeria picked cane and started flogging Brazil. No, the meaning there actually is defeated. Okay, defeated. So the antonyms to that flogged is what? Won. Okay, so that is it. So when you are dealing with antonyms, you need to be very careful. You need to make sure that the word inside that sentence, you understand it. You know the meaning is trying to portray there before you can now choose from the options you have. Obviously, many students fail questions under this. So you have to be very conversant with your words. You have to be very used to it, and you need to be used to maybe sentences and get many more examples. Okay, so let's go to the classroom and have something written on the board. We are going to have a classwork to do so that you can groom yourself. You can be used to everything concerning preposition and antonyms, which are questions that can come down under lexicon structure. All right, so we've got this on the board. Prepositions are linking words that show the relationship between nouns or pronouns and some other words in a sentence. So when you have a particular sentence with the nouns, the pronouns, and any other word that exists in the sentence, preposition, the function it does there is to show the relationship that exists maybe between or among these words that exist in that sentence. Now let's now look at examples of prepositions in sentences. Now look at this question, look at this sentence one. We say, I kept it inside the drawer. First of all, we'll cite the nouns or pronouns here. We've got I as a pronoun, it as a pronoun, then the drawer as a noun. So what is the relationship that exists among these. That's what? Inside. So inside here is the preposition. Look at example 2. Stand beside him. Although we know that there's an hidden pronoun in this particular sentence, even though it's not really shown. But the only one that is shown here is just one pronoun, which is what? Him. So what's the relationship between that hidden pronoun and this him that is shown here? That is what? Beside. It shows the relationship between that hidden pronoun and beside. So the hidden pronoun could be I, it could be anybody's name, it could be a noun. Now look at this example 3. Can you jump over the fence? And let's look at the nouns, pronouns, or any other word that are here. So we got you, which is a pronoun, and we've got the fence, which is a noun. Now, the relationship that exists between you and the fence is what? Over, which is the pronoun, which is the preposition, sorry. So we know that can is an auxiliary verb, then jump is a lexical verb. So that is what the preposition does, okay? Showing the relationship. Now, let's look at this. They said these following types, the one we're about to discuss now, they also show, okay, these following types of preposition also show their functions, okay? We've got types of preposition which are actually the same, they actually show the function that they perform. So the function that this preposition perform are determines the name that are given to them, determines the type, okay? Now let's look at this. There are some prepositions that show relative position, okay? They show relative position, that is where something is positioned. Now look at example 1. We say, put it on the table. Put it on the table. On is the preposition here. So we know that the words there that the relationship is showing for, we've got it and we've got the table. Then look at example 2. I am at the street, okay? We've got these two pronouns. We've got this pronoun I, and we've got the street, which is a noun. So the relationship between the two is what? At. So these types of pronoun, preposition, they obviously show relative position, the position at which one particular noun pronoun is to the other noun or pronoun. Now the second function, they show direction, that is telling us where a particular thing is heading to. And look at this. She went to the school. So we've got she, which is a pronoun here, and we've got school, which is a noun here. So what is now the relationship between the two? That's two. Now the second example, the cat ran across the road. We've got the cat, which is a noun, and we've got the road also, which is a noun. So the relationship between these two, okay, is across. So these are more types or examples of preposition obviously show direction, the position or where something is actually going to. Now the third function indicates time. So there are some prepositions which obviously indicate the time a particular thing happened, or the time that two nouns or pronouns actually maybe got related, okay, got linked. Now let's look at the nouns or pronouns here. We've got you, then we've got noon, okay, we've got you, we've got noon. So what's the relationship between you and noon? Between you and noon, which is this particular time, okay, noon is a specific time. Between you and noon is what? At. You expected there at noon. Now look at the second one. Do you watch horror movies during the day? Do you watch horror movies during the day? We've got you, which is a pronoun here. We've got the day, which is also a timing. Now, what relationship exists between the person watching an horror movie and the day? That's what? During. So which means that these are more other examples like that. They obviously indicate or show time, that two nouns or pronouns, they obviously relate. Now look at the fourth function, show limit of movement, motion. Show limit of motion. Now look at this example. He went into the office. We've got he, which is the pronoun here, and we've got the office. So the motion, okay, the preposition that actually indicate motion is what? Into. So more likely like functioning as showing direction. Okay, so there's this similarity when it comes to some preposition functioning as performing the function of showing direction or performing the function of showing the limit of motion. Now look at this second example. Take it to the shopkeeper. We've got it, which is the pronoun, and shopkeeper, which is a noun. So what is the relationship between these two, and which actually indicates motion? That is to. So these are more other examples under preposition, obviously show limit of motion. Now the next function, indicate sources. When I say sources, tell us where a particular thing comes from, where something actually evolved from. Now look at this example. John is from England. So we've got John, which is a noun, and England to a noun, that's a place. So what is now the relationship? What is the linking that exists between these two? That's from. So this from obviously states, okay, where John came, okay, the source of where John originated from. Now look at this second example. The president of USA is here. So we've got the president, which is the noun here, and we've got, okay, I think that's the only thing. Okay, yes, sorry, USA, that's country. Okay, so what is now the relationship between the two? That's of. So these are more examples of preposition, obviously indicate sources. Indicate sources. So when you use from or of, okay, in a particular sentence, they obviously indicate sources. Now the last function, okay, show cause. Show cause, that is why a particular thing is happening, okay, why a particular action had to take place between these two nouns or pronouns or any other word that exists there. Now look at this example. It says he slept well because of the coolness in the house. So we've got E, and we've got the coolness. What actually links these two? What linked them? That's what? Because of. So the reason why he slept well is because of the coolness. So if there was no coolness, he wouldn't sleep well. So because of the coolness, he slept well. Now look at the second example. I forgave him for the sake of friendship. Now we've got I, so we've got three here. We've got I, which is a pronoun. I've got him, then I've got friendship. So the relationship that exists among these three is sake of. So if there was no friendship, I wouldn't forgive him. So this sake of is giving me the reason why I forgave him, which is what? Friendship. So that is the relation, okay? The relation that happened between, or that exists among these three. Okay, so sake of. So these are more examples of preposition, obviously show cause. Okay, so these are a few examples of preposition with their functions cited, but all the same we still have other examples of prepositions. Okay, so many of them can obviously exist within these various functions that have been written on the board. We've got before, after, we've got between, for, against, amidst, among, beneath, below, in front, behind, in, onto, outside, beside, under, and so on like that. So that's everything concerning prepositions. Okay, so questions under this can actually come out under lexicon structure. So concerning the second topic we discussed, okay, we have antonyms. Now antonyms are words of opposite meanings to given words. Okay, so you'll be given a particular word and be demanded to provide another word that serves as the opposite to this particular word that exists, maybe under a particular, maybe under lexicon structure. That should be the second paper in English language. Now they say students are tested on this topic in English language to rate their ability in word usage and how to get suitable words which happens to be its possible opposite in meaning as a replacement for the word or words, okay, in the sentences. Okay, so what they're trying to say that you need to be very conversant with your words, okay, not just the dictionary meaning, but also try to denote the contextual meaning or the meaning that it applies in that particular sentence. And when you now deal with antonyms, you look for another word that obviously stands as the opposite, the antagonist, the other side of that given word. Okay, so you need to be a library of words. Okay, so I just want to use this to actually give examples to give an insight on what antonyms are. Now look at this example. So although the atmosphere was hostile, so we have the word hostile here, the meeting ended on dash terms. So this is a replica of how questions will come out under lexical structure when you are dealing with antonyms. Now look at this. So which of these four options would you pick that serves as the opposite, okay, of hostile? Okay, we know hostile is something negative, okay? So that means that we need to look for something that is more of positive, okay? So is it discord? Is it amiable? Is it selfish? Or light? Definitely it's amiable. That's friendly. So if you don't know the meaning of these words, you'll be disturbed. So you need to be very conversant with these words, okay? And you have to take note that these words, which of them actually comply or which of them is actually the possible opposite of the underlined word. Now look at this second example. Say we enjoy real stories, not those that are dash. Not those that are dash. So we've got fake, we've got believable, we've got imaginary, we've got fable. Now obviously anybody would want to choose fake, but no, this is stories. Is what? Imaginary. Okay, so there'll be some cases whereby real would obviously mean the opposite of fake. But in this particular context, real means true, what has happened, not what you can see, what is genuine. Take note, real could mean what is genuine. But in this sense, it means what has really happened, not something that is fabricated. So the best possible opposite of real is imaginary. So which means something that is fabricated. So this is just a replica, an example of how questions under antonyms can actually come out, and also something of such on that preposition. So because I wouldn't want you to stay lazy, okay, so I'd want you to actually try this at home. Now look at this first category. Say choose the best preposition to complete each of the sentences. Number one, the set out dash canoe. Is it into, towards, for, or to? Number two, it was dash the plane. Is it on, in, inside, or at? Number three, we were taken dash by the story. Is it by, in, into, or off? Number four, she should set dash preparing lunch. Is it about, on, to, or for? Then the category B, choose the best option that is the antonym to each underlined word. Number one, John was perturbed about his poor examination result, but his friend remained dash. Is it unaware, careless, unconcerned? Number two, the meeting which started with controversy later ended in dash. Is it peace, discord, togetherness? So I want you to try this at home, and you can pick books to actually test yourself out, okay? Try not to be lazy, okay? Because you know learning is fun. So until we meet again, take care. Bye.